When the Council of 17 met on the rings of Shaltun, the consensus was clear. Humanity must be contained. The Terrans were spreading too fast, climbing from their dying cradle into the stars with a defiance none of the elder species had expected. The Galactic Concord had offered integration. The Terrans responded by building faster ships. The Concord offered protection. The Terrans responded by building bigger guns. So the Council sent Envoy Zaltek, a senior diplomat of the Orn Dominion, to the Terran front lines with a single purpose: deliver an ultimatum. Submit or be annihilated. Zaltek had seen 100 worlds bow before the Council. He was respected, feared, and known to resolve conflicts with a mere glance. But what he found when he arrived at Era Station, orbiting the edge of Sol, was not what he expected. The human ambassador, a woman named Commander Elena Ramirez, greeted him not in a palace, but in a steel command room lit by flickering LEDs. She wore a uniform still smudged with soot, and when she offered a seat, it was dented and bolted to the floor. "You've come to threaten us," she said calmly, pouring black liquid into a mug. "Coffee?" Zaltek declined. She smiled faintly. "Suit yourself." He began the speech he had delivered to a dozen species before. "The expansion of your race is in violation of the Accords. Your refusal to submit to interstellar law endangers the delicate balance of peace. The Council demands your unconditional surrender." She sipped her coffee and looked out the porthole. "Did the Varnak surrender when you demanded?" Zaltek bristled. "They resisted. They no longer exist." She nodded. "And the Kalari?" "Their sun was repurposed." Silence. "Right," she said softly, turning to face him. "Let me tell you a story, Zaltek, something you might not know." She gestured to a screen where an image flickered to life, a grainy black-and-white film showing mushroom clouds blooming over cities. "This is Earth, mid-20th century. We wiped out 2 cities just to prove a point. We hadn't even left our planet yet." Zaltek stared. "Why show me this barbarism?" Ramirez's voice dropped to a whisper. "Because we nearly ended ourselves before we even met you. Nuclear fire, bioweapons, AI gone rogue. We danced on the edge of extinction a dozen times, and every time we pulled back, scarred but alive." She leaned forward. "We are not afraid of annihilation. We were born in it. You threaten us with extinction? We've rehearsed it." Zaltek attempted diplomacy. "But this is madness. Peace benefits all." "And yet peace has always come with a leash," she cut in. "The Council offers peace if we bow, if we give up our curiosity, our independence, our will. That's not peace. That's domestication." She stood and activated another display. This time it showed a human warship, black, angular, scarred, the INS Vengeance. "You see that ship? It was built after your allies' glassed Proxima colony. It was crewed by orphans, people who had nothing left to lose. It runs on a reactor we barely understand, and its main weapon is called a Thor cannon. Not because it's poetic, because it throws tungsten rods the size of buildings at near relativistic speed. It doesn't vaporize cities, it erases them." Zaltek's voice faltered. "You would destroy entire worlds?" Ramirez replied coldly. "We build entire weapons programs for a threat that might show up in 10,000 years. We're paranoid, brutal, and dangerous. But there's something you should know. We don't start wars lightly." She paused. "But we finish them." Zaltek returned to the Council with the message. They laughed, called it posturing. Then the Battle of Cygni Prime happened. 6 Council fleets arrived. Only one returned. The transmission from the human flagship before the attack was short. "You offered us surrender. We offer you extinction." After that, humanity didn't just fight back, they expanded. They took systems deemed untouchable, dug up long-forbidden technology, and did the unthinkable. They terraformed a gas giant. They colonized neutron star orbitals. They reverse-engineered ancient precursor weapons and improved them. And then they made the worst decision from the Council's view. They started teaching others. The broken, the conquered, the enslaved. Humans found them, uplifted them, armed them. And now, the rebellion spreads. The Orn Dominion fell in 13 days. Zaltek watched as Terran Marines stormed his palace, not to enslave, but to liberate. They handed out food, medical supplies, books. One soldier, barely more than a boy, handed Zaltek a datapad. It had a single message on it. "We are not your enemy, but if you make us one, remember who taught you fear." Years later, on the steps of the rebuilt Concord, a new council met, not of the old empires, but of free worlds. At its head stood a woman in a plain uniform, holding no weapons, wearing no crown, Commander Elena Ramirez. And behind her, in orbit, hung a single Terran warship, the Vengeance, silent, waiting. A reminder. The last argument of kings had become the first word of peace.